Hello, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the ARK Daily Podcast. This is Friday, November 3rd. Hope you're all doing well. It's a fun week, the Halloween week, Day of the Dead week over in Mexico, November 1st and 2nd. Big holidays over there. Got a couple friends that are having the time of their life right now in Mexico City. Shout out to Mexico. Shout out to everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic week. It's been a busy, productive, and a week filled with a lot of opportunities, a lot of meetings, a lot of folks knocking on our door. Huge meeting today with a protocol very interested in our banking products. Massive community. We spoke a little bit about it yesterday. We don't like to discuss details until they're finalized. And with a deal like this, most likely it'll be a white label software as a service using all of the work we've done, using our connections to the bank and being able to bring our products to their large user base, over 150,000. So we're in negotiations. We're not the only show in town. So we keep our expectations, I think, realistic. But folks, that's what we're here to do, to educate, show the products, show what we can bring to the table, save people a lot of time and a lot of money. Because that's what it's taken us, folks, time and money to get to where we are. And to have these great smart contracts, 2-tier affiliate program, paying out USDT instantly. Sheesh. We've seen some folks do some white label stuff, widgets, not anything close to the level of customization, professionalism that these systems have in place. So great to be able to sit down and show off how everything comes together, how everything works. Sometimes as a user, we judge things by the speed and the way the UI looks. We don't know everything that's behind it. Of course, it's important to have a great user interface, fast speeds, but it's really a robust solution here. The way you receive your emails after your KYC has been submitted, when it's been approved, everything through the process, Web3 login system. You don't have to worry about someone hacking your password manager and taking your password and taking your crypto or spending on your card or ordering a new one. You got to connect with your wallet. That's a great security feature. And there's also a private key within the system. So anyway, we rave about it. We're proud of the sophistication of the system, the way it works. And our goal here is to grow our user base, get more folks involved, get the revenue on our side working for us. As of recent, we keep track with a lot of the other products. We're not going to name any names, but one very popular one's having a lot of issues. I'm personally thinking of just discontinuing using the service at all. Online shopping is absolutely, utterly useless. You have to write to the company. You have to whitelist an online purchase. I mean, it's awful. Heinous debacle, folks. But we continue here on our path, making things better. I know Brett had a massive, very important meeting today. He's going to bring us up to speed. And that's going to be it for me. I'm going to turn it over to you, Brett. Tell these good folks about what you've been cooking in the sausage rooms.
Yeah, just real quick, just want to touch on the LSA balance. For those of you that are not always going back to the DApp, every day to check the balance in the LSA. We're at 53,703 BUSD. I think down about, was it 57 yesterday or something like that? Maybe we're down 3-4K. So still plenty of time to do your actions in the vault, compound, withdraw, stay at that, ideal 1 or 2%, depending on where you are. 50-50 withdrawal schedule. I know that Mistletoe was helping everybody optimize. There's 54-46, I heard, or something like that, 55-45, to squeeze out every last little bit of ARK. But yeah, you can always deposit still and forever at 10-cent price into the LSA. So I think giving people a little extra time. We're only 5 days in. We started at 140,000, like 139.9 or somewhere in there. So we're down, let's see, almost 86, 87K. So yeah, quite a bit of participation, and we're seeing, about over 700,000 ArkFi tokens deposited into the LSA since we opened this new 10-cent price up and made that opportunity available. So people stacking, people continuing to work their vault and put into the LSA, and I think we'll see this just kind of bleed out and drown down. I know some people are stacking, consolidating, probably waiting a little bit. So once we see it get down to the 20K range, it might go a little bit quicker. People getting concerned that they can't just let the ArkFi stack up in their wallets anymore, and they need to just put it in before that last BUSD is gone. And then at that point, you can always top up and get your NFT satisfied with BUSD until we migrate to the new contracts. We had a quick update yesterday. Alex making great progress on the contracts. We're working through some last little details on how we approach the yield boost. He also made a comment today in the secret DAO channel. There were some questions about the IDs of the NFTs. We had thought that we may have lost the serial IDs. So basically the sequence in which the NFTs were minted for the NFTs that were in rounds 1, 2. When we updated the contracts, we thought maybe we lost the serial IDs previously, but it turns out that he's able to restore those. So we actually have the historical data that he's already run a script for and scraped. So it looks like we'll be able to restore those serial IDs so that when we do have the yield boost feature, we can apply those historically and maintain the sequence in which the NFTs were minted, which is going to be important for the yield boost. Basically, the yield boost will decrease as new NFTs are minted. And the way that we're kind of doing a bit of a regression, almost like a kind of a half-life curve is what we're attempting to get. The blockchain, the math doesn't work out perfectly, so we have to either look at a hard coding method or some simple math to do it. But basically, once we get to about from $6 million available to mint down to about $3 million available to mint, the boost will decrease significantly more. So that basically when we get to the total of $6 million minted for the legacy NFT pool, that the boost will be at its lowest point, which will be basically zero. So the thinking there is that the people that came in the first half of the raise, of the $6 million raise up to about 3 million, should get the higher rewards, and then it's going to decrease off from there. So it's really if you look at an exponential curve, it's really the opposite. So we're trying to make it so that there's a higher reward for those who risk more and got in earlier versus those who will come later. Once we have established products, once we have established revenue, and a lot of the risk is out of the business plan, that's just more marketing expense and pushing from a sales standpoint than it is the development and getting the products to market, getting initial end user testing, getting the marketing messaging, all that refined, and then figuring out who our key targets are, and then starting to go after them. The final 3 million will be a lot of marketing expense and sales expense just to push the numbers and get the more users into the system. And we'll have obviously increasing revenue at that point. So you'll be able to see the performance of the NFT very clearly and have some historical metrics for those businesses that are feeding that. So at that point, it'll be the banking products and the privacy products. and then obviously ArcLight will be coming down the road. So that's kind of how we're modeling it. We haven't figured it all out yet, but worst case scenario, we hard code it in so that we have basically tiers of the yield boost based on the minting levels of the NFTs. Let's see what else. I know that Alex was involved today as well. Alex mentioned potential partners coming in for the banking products, and Alex would help lead us in those white label endeavors. But he's also going to be finishing up the legacy NFT contracts, and he's also started on the DApp design for the legacy NFT. We're going to revamp all of that so that it looks a lot like the mobile application in terms of branding and what you're seeing on the LSA page and so on. So really kind of a rehashing of how everything looks, as well as the ability to focus in on the business performance and how it's impacting your legacy NFT, and be able to see the historical performance of that, payouts, all of that kind of great stuff that's important to someone who's holding the legacy NFT and seeing how that's performing. And then Atlas mentioned we had a great meeting today. We had some, just to be transparent, we had some technical hurdles in how the user experience was going to look with the zero knowledge, and I'll try to just kind of summarize it. But basically, when you have zero knowledge, the only person that has the passkey is the user. So not only do we have end-to-end encryption when passing data, let's say you're sending an email, for example, as that email leaves the user's device, it gets encrypted. When it arrives at the endpoint, it's encrypted throughout that tunneling process, throughout that networking process. And when it gets to the next user, it gets decrypted so that they can actually read the message. But while it's on our end, or the user's device, it's fully encrypted. And so the only way for them to view it is if they have the passkey saved on that device, or they've used that passkey to log in. So the challenges become that every time somebody logs in to view an email, or to view or to create a new password, for example, in the passkey manager, or to open a file in the encrypted storage, they have to have that passkey available. And so instead of the user logging in every time, we do have still a zero knowledge way of storing that passkey in a way that only the end user can access it, and they can only view the data during that session, or that user session. So we kind of overcame a hurdle of the nuisance of having a user log in and use that passphrase every time to view their data, which would become kind of annoying. So it was a great breakthrough today, and dev team's excited, and we were able to keep file sharing and our trash management for the email and the password and the passkey, and also the cloud storage product as well, because we were having issues with how do we manage trash that way, because we can't access the files without the passkey and be able to delete them on a schedule. So now we can at least delete the files. We can't view them. We can never view them. So if authorities came to us and said, hey, give us all their data for end user XYZ, we could say, fine, here it is, but it's all encrypted and it's sharded and we don't have access to it. The user would have to give up their passkey. Very similar to not your keys, not your crypto. This is not your keys, not your data. So it's kind of a new way of thinking, but also a very much needed layer of security, both to keep us protected as an entity and as a someone with business incentive, and then also to protect the end user. And I saw a very interesting podcast the other day. I'm deep into this security privacy world now, so I watch all these hacker videos and stuff, and they made a very good point. They said, if a company doesn't have a business interest, and they were talking about free DVPNs or free email services and these other things, if you don't have a business interest, then you don't have the security of your end users in your interest. So basically, if someone's not paying for the service and there's no business incentive to keep your community safe, to keep your end users secure, then there really ends up being a vulnerability there from a business standpoint. Obviously, you can't maintain the highest levels of security if you don't have a revenue stream coming in to support that. And so also keeping up with the latest in technology, the latest in what might be happening from a quantum computing standpoint, a hacking standpoint, making sure that zero knowledge is maintained and the encryption is maintained at a level that everyone can sleep at night and your end users are happy and the business is happy, then you kind of end up in that space where you're creating potential vulnerabilities for your end users. They're not as secure as they could be because you don't have an interest, a business interest, whether financial interest, to maintain that security going forward, continuing to build on it, update, improve as you go. Because we know this is a fast-moving space and there's technology coming that's going to be able to overcome whatever encryption is in place today. So that was kind of an interesting, I think, view on things. We've talked a lot about, if you're not paying for a service, then you're the product and you're being sold advertising, or your data is being sold by mostly the big tech platforms. We talked a lot about Facebook and how they monetize data, user data, without the user even knowing. Google does the same thing in different ways. Outlook, Microsoft, so there's a lot of these platforms that are seemingly free, but create not only the incentive for that company to sell your data, but then also there's not necessarily an incentive to keep you safe and secure unless you're paying for the service. So obviously we're coming out with a paid service, but this is a premium product in terms of privacy and security. And there's a huge market building for that. I've been watching YouTube channels that the subscriber base, just to talk about, web security, online presence security, anonymity, 2 million subscribers to these platforms, these single YouTube users, content creators on YouTube. And, we tap into 1, 2, 3, or 4 of those with our story about, we're coming out, we're going to try to be a proton killer, kind of take over a lot of the market share from these encrypted email or single use, VPN that's not decentralized, not necessarily secure, centralized storage, centralized, all of these different centralized services that are out there, and really try to take some market share away from them, in addition to one-upping what's available with Proton that is not decentralized. We've talked about, the UN involvement and CERN and how this thing all kind of came about, and some concerns around that. So I think we have a real opportunity to capture market share, capture a lot of new users into the ARK brand, and under that brand of products, cross-sell, cross-promote our different crypto banking products, our different cards, and then ultimately, if we have new yield opportunities, legacy NFT, these other things will come, and we'll have a whole new audience to educate and bring into the fold. So yeah, we're excited. I really do think that we can compete head to head with a company like Proton, not only with our initial offering, but also with our story and our kind of unique positioning in the marketplace around zero knowledge and around decentralization. It's going to strike a chord with current crypto users, which are obviously an immediate target. But then I think that those terms and how people view centralized big tech companies going forward is going to continue to erode their confidence, and they're going to be fleeing over to these other services and just looking at, YouTube, what's hot, what's popular, these big channels that are being built around this concept of privacy, anonymity, and security. I mean, there's a huge interest there, and there's large audiences waiting to consume this information as well as these type of products. So I couldn't be more excited, and I think we're on a great track. And like I said, we overcame a bit of a technical hurdle today and had a breakthrough in how we handle the user experience, keeping it as streamlined as possible, and always making it, very simple to use, very easy to understand. Things happening in the background to create the privacy and the security, but not necessarily burdening the end user with jumping through a lot of different hoops. It'll look and act a lot like the Web 2.0 interfaces that they're used to using, the apps that they're used to using, and they won't even notice or know that it's zero knowledge and fully decentralized on the back end. That's about it for me. Atlas, anything you wanted to jump in there and add?
Man, you you covered it. Great update. I think that was a great explanation and an important explanation that's going to help a lot of folks here understand what's happening, why it's so important. And I think as time passes, more folks understand the vulnerabilities that are there for the current encryptions and the passwords that we currently use. It's no secret that the supercomputers and AI and those teaming up together, boy, we're in a world of pain if we don't get ourselves really organized. And that's something that just recently Signal put into their encryption. I believe it was maybe about a month and a half ago, but they've made it resistant to these threats. So a huge upgrade, showing that the leaders in the industry are definitely moving in the right direction. Very, very important. And I think it's just going to become a wave of folks as we start to hear the news about, government secrets being compromised. We understand there's a lot of data that's already been mined and just waiting to be unsealed and cracked using these advanced technologies. So quantum computer, AI, we understand what's going to happen there, and I think that's also something that a conversation that a lot of people don't want to have, but I think it's going to also affect crypto keys, but one step at a time. One step at a time. Let's not get everybody into a panic yet. We don't have to that at this time.
The crypto keys thing is a huge problem, especially I know people that are on this call in our community. They have multiple wallets. If you're anything like I'm sure you or me, I've got keys written down and put in 2 different places, and kind of protecting myself as much as possible. But we're really building this system with our passkey manager system with sort of one key to rule them all. So if you can store your keys in one central location, but only have access to them with one passphrase, one passkey, I think that's advantageous. I think a lot of people take advantage of that. So that's one of the things we're going to be telling. I know, a lot of people, at first may not be trusting of it. I'm not sure how this works, and we'll have to go through that education process. But to me, it would be a huge time saver and a place that I know that I could give at least 1-2 people in my life. Hey, if you use this passphrase, you can have access to this and make that part of, potentially your will or something that you pass down to people in the future. Because once those keys are lost, if you get hit in a car accident and die and no one knows where those keys are, it's bye-bye time. So all of that crypto, all that hard work, potentially, a lifetime of savings, whether you're stacking coins, DeFi protocols, whatever it might be, you've got those that value and that asset stored in that wallet. The legacy NFT is a good example of that. The gift that keeps on giving, the NFT that keeps on paying, and passing that down and doing it in a responsible way, but having all of your keys organized and in a location that then has a key on top of it that only you know or your attorney knows and can provide that to loved ones as you exit this realm, then I think that's going to resonate with quite a few people. I know there's people out there ultra paranoid. Oh, I'm never giving, even if it's zero knowledge, and I'm not going to have one passphrase that sort of unlocks all my crypto wallets. But there's a downside to that, right? There's a downside to kind of everything where maybe you don't want to pass it on. Maybe you don't care if you lose your keys and all of that crypto's gone. But there's some people that do, and I know a lot of people are trying to figure out an easy solution to this problem, as well as where do I store my bank account information? Where do I store, just notes about who to call? What's my attorney's name? What's his number? Where's my living will? Do I have a vault somewhere? What's the codes to all of those things? And keeping those in a place where not only is it zero knowledge, but it's also encrypted and then sharded across the world in servers, and has that built-in redundancy. It's natural disaster proof. Hey, if you got your stuff stored in a vault, written down somewhere or on a laptop, that thing could get lost, stolen, flooded, burned, tornadoed, hurricaned, earthquaked, bombed potentially. So this technology is not just for people that are trying to hide things. This is for real people that have information that's highly sensitive, highly personal, private in some cases, but then also financial documents, legal documents, business documents that have taken them a lifetime in a lot of cases to amass, and that's important to them to pass that down in a responsible manner, in a way that's going to stay safe while they're still in control of it, but then ultimately transition to others. And having it all in one spot is huge. I mean, if you have family members that have to jump through hoops to try to find things, maybe they just never recover some of it, and not just online things, but it could be physical things as well. Having in one place with all of the instructions, all of your contacts and financial access and information, I think is a huge selling point. And doing it with the right tech, privacy, anonymity, and through zero knowledge and decentralization, I think is the best possible way to do it.
Absolutely. Fascinating. Definitely fascinating.
Yeah. It's a product with a lot of different use cases. I mean, you start to think about why somebody might buy a product like this. The initial might just be the paranoia, and I just, I have to have it encrypted. I don't care how it works, it just has to be encrypted. But then once you dig into the layers of it and discover it's these layerings that are going to prevent the hackers or the authorities from wanting to mess with you. The more layers and barriers you can put up, the better. The more costly, the more time intense, and the more resources someone will have to have in order to get your identity and your information, or hack into your bank accounts or do anything nefarious like that. So the easy ones are going to be the ones that they go after if they realize that your footprint is very difficult to access, and password, passkeys, where your laptop is, your IP address, these kind of things are difficult to discover. They can't build a book on you. They can't crack the code easily. Of course, everything is hackable. With the right amount of time and money and resources, anything's hackable. But what we'll find is that these hackers are going to move on. It's just like in the corporate world, they face the same thing. The company that's down the street, easy to hack, is the one that's going to get the first one to be broken into. The one that's has the proper security layers, done a great job of locking down their IT, training their employees, everything else. That one's going to be a lot harder. And why would the hacker attempt that one when there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that they can go after? That's easy wins, easy money. So it's the same thing with personal information, personal security. Make it more difficult, and you'll most likely be avoided and avoid a disaster, and for yourself. If you make it easy, then you're opening the door, and those bad things can happen to you. So we're creating a system that just adds those layers that just going to make it exponentially harder for corporate interests, hackers, individuals, or even the quote unquote authorities that want to come in and potentially access your data or spy on what you're doing, whatever it might be. We're just going to make it really, really difficult for them. And that's a decision that they would have to make at that point. And if it's too hard, costs too much, and takes too much time, they're probably not going to pursue it in most cases. So yeah, that's sort of the product value proposition in a nutshell.
Yeah, let's get this crypto, baby.
Oh, god damn.
Oh, yeah, let's get this crypto.
Dropping the alpha. Nice work, Brett. Fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it's interesting because, we put out a really cool banking product. It's not the complete solution yet, but we're still getting interest from people. It's a very difficult thing to do. These on and off ramps are not easy, and a lot of people are attempting to do them. Like you mentioned, they're kind of doing them through a widget or something simple. But the way we did it with the full integration, API connections, fully developed front end, very smooth, nice user experience, custom cards. It's attracting it's attracting people in the space that are struggling. And I think with this privacy suite, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of the woodwork to say, wow, this is badass. I want a piece of this. How can we get involved? And I think it's going to bring some interesting partnerships and channel opportunities that we aren't foreseeing yet. But we know that if we do it in the right way at the same level we've taken on the banking side of things, that this privacy thing could just even be huge. I mean, it could be way, way, way bigger.
Absolutely. That's the direction. That's the vision. Mm-hmm. That's the work we come here to do every single day. And boy, what a day it's been. Amazing. Got a couple things that's still here to do. I also, Brandon, I got to get back to you. I've been swamped, my friend, but we'll be touching base over the weekend. And good to see Alex in the house. He's been really cooking it up with the smart contracts for the legacy NFT, as well as the new user interface, the whole design, everything, the way it's coming together with the boost. It's a beautiful piece of work that he's put together for the legacy NFTs. Can't wait to start to reveal that for you. We want to get this completed and continue just knocking them off like the bowling pins that we were talking about the other day with our good friend, Coach Mistletoe. Hope he's going to feel better very, very soon. And folks, that's going to bring us to the end, at least for the recording. We're going to continue with some Q&A. If any of the folks have any questions or comments, please feel free to join us here after. We'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. UTC. And do remember, folks, November 5th, daylight savings time for the folks over there in North, South America. Be sure you set your times and come here and be with us. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you.